Alright, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lunch Money, the podcast where we just make shit up as we go. I am one of your hosts, Ken, and this is my good friend, Frank. And we are 2 episodes in. Surprisingly enough, we have made it this far. I didn't think we'd know. No. I thought after 1 week we'd be done. But we're here. And Frank, do you want to tell them what's on the menu for today's episode?
Main course. We're going right into the main course.
Right in the main course.
Veggies or apple.
Fuck the veggies.
We are ranking our top 10 albums from we're both big music people. In fact, Ken, at the time of this recording, not sure when it's going out, we're recording this on the 14th. Ken is going to an Uzi concert.
Yes. I was wondering where you're going with that.
On the 20th of November.
Barclays.
Yeah, this is being recorded like a week before, so.
Yeah, I was really wondering where you're going with that.
And that's what made the idea.
Yeah,
that's what made our idea.
But yeah, Uzi on the 20th. I'm stoked. Pink Tape Tour. He's got some OG songs in there, so I'm kind of stoked about that. Barclays Center. It's gonna be sick. And I think the episode will be out before then, but I'm also going to the Utopia Tour on December 3rd. Whether or not this episode will be out by then or not, but Utopia Tour in Philly, I'm stoked for that. I call it my funeral. Either my soul will be taken from me, or I will just be,
I will just simply pass away.
I'll just, yeah. As soon as that opener of Hyena goes on, I think I'll just be levitating. Anyway,
I think. So the other idea from this is because it is a challenge. Yeah. It was a challenge. We even took an extra day.
Yeah.
Not through anyone's fault. But we took an extra day because, in my opinion, I think I've talked to Ken about this, but we can expand on it now. There are a lot of artists that they don't have a concrete whole album that is good. Mm-hmm. Like the example I used for Ken, and something else is going to happen while I say this.
Please no.
Queen, one of the biggest bands of all time, and yes, I'm saying it loud for something that's going to come in a few minutes. They don't have an album that is like an album that is every song is like that, like good, everybody knows.
Banger.
Like, for instance, like, the album that Bohemian Rhapsody was on. That's probably their best album because of Bohemian Rhapsody. If Bohemian Rhapsody wasn't on the album, it was probably not going to be like that. And a lot of artists are like that. You don't have those artists that have it. And the reason that I say it like that and that Jacob doesn't have to edit down my volume is that Jacob's our editor. Hi, Jacob.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Jacob.
Ken didn't know that Queen was a band. One of the biggest bands, not just of like their time, of all time.
I don't have a way to defend myself on this one. I'm just uncultured in that genre of music. Whether or not you even need to be cultured to know that genre of music, or even their most famous song. Yeah. Yeah, no excuse on that one. I did my research, and Queen is a band. I did learn that. Finally. But yeah, I didn't know Queen was a band. Scold me. Hit me up in the comments. I live under a rock. But Bohemian Rhapsody, that's a banger. So that's all I got for you. They sing it at every concert I go to, and everyone in the crowd sings it. So yeah, that's how I know it. But yes, Queen is a band. I learned that. The main guy.
Oh my God.
No, Freddie Mercury. I had to think of space for that one. Freddie Mercury, the mustache. Anyway, we're just gonna get into our top 10 albums. I
I think we
think.
should.
I think
I
we
think we
should.
should. For the people who aren't listening on like that can see the screen, I am very far away because I'm just trying not to fall out
um,
of my chair. Again, Jacob, you
and
don't need to edit this because this is what needs to be shown.
and
Because
saying my statement at the time where I did not know Queen was a band and rather not a person, I was on to the substance of anything. I will just put that out there. That was pure
yeah,
thought.
that's even worse.
That's pure Ken thought. Um, so yeah, that's one for the books. That's
All
for
right, let's
sure.
get
All
into the
right,
list.
yeah, please. Okay, thank you. Um,
You want to go
so
first? Or you want me to go first?
well, we're gonna do top 10 for everyone out there. We're gonna do top 10 albums, and we have a couple honorable mentions. So what's gonna happen is Frank and I are gonna go back and forth down the list, and then we're gonna hit up our honorable mentions. And these are our personal opinions. These are not
Oh yeah,
global.
that should have been yeah.
Yeah, these are not global or cultural opinions. This is all personal opinions. Disagree with us, you'll probably disagree with a couple of mine, that's fine. But these are songs that we choose that you can, if you had a record player, you're willing to pay 30, 40 bucks for a record to play this album on. This isn't something where it's like, I like this song, this song, this song. It is uh, a list where we can listen to the whole album through and through and not be disappointed in it or not be upset that we spent that much money on the record. Just putting that out there just for a little disclaimer, just so we have that
There
settled.
are also a lot, at least for me, that could be like interchanged.
Yeah.
Not in terms of in and out of the top 10,
Mhm.
just the order
I
of how they
agree.
are in the
Yeah.
10. These are the top 10 as of November 14th at 5:12 p.m.
November 14th at 2:39 p.m. I did a couple of changes on my list. It took me a minute. There are some very questionable ones, which you are probably going to roll your eyes at for those watching this pod. But okay, Frank, if you want to get us started with your number 10, I am ready when you are.
All right, so my number 10 is Death of a Bachelor by Panic at the Disco. I
Whoa.
think, yes, I think because Panic has number one, shout out, rest in peace. Panic is no longer a thing. Um, Hallelujah. House of Memories is one of my all time favorite
Yeah.
songs by them.
Mhm.
Um, you got the title track, Death of a Bachelor. That's just a great song. You
You
got
you started off differently than I thought you would. That
yeah.
that like threw me. If that's your whole, if this is how it's gonna go, man, I'm spinning right now.
Death, Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time. Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time has one of my favorite lines in a song. It's I'm not as thick as you drunk I am. And there the reason I chose Panic and why I like Panic so much is that when I was in high school, I didn't realize how much Panic I was listening to because I didn't know it was them.
Mhm.
Then when my friends that I would like hang out with, they would be like, "Oh, put my Panic playlist on," and I would hear all these songs, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I
Like
love
the
these
light the
songs!"
light
And
bulb
this,
just went off for you, yeah.
yeah, and like, oh, this is Panic at the Disco. So, yep, that's. I think Death of the Bachelor. That's a hot take. I think if anybody likes that, like just that
Yeah.
style of music, with Death of the Bachelor being that low, but I think my variety puts it at 10.
Mhm.
So that's my number
Yeah,
10.
you definitely just like threw me for a loop on that one. Um, I did not expect that at all, but GG on that one. My 10th on the list is 2014 Forest Hills Drive by J.
Mm,
Cole.
mm.
Um,
It's a good album.
yeah, obviously came out in 2014, but you have songs like, obviously the one everybody knows is No Role Models. That is, back when I was in middle school, high school, that was kind of like the song to listen to. But you also have GOMD, you have Wet Dreams, you got San Tropez, you got a bunch of shit on there that's actually, I can listen to this album all the time, and it's such a classic J. Cole album. His new stuff is great, but when I think of J. Cole, I think 2014 Forest Hills Drive. I think that's
Yeah.
a good one.
I think that's what a lot of people think of when they think of J. Cole. I think of
Yeah.
when you tell me J. Cole, I think of 2014. Well, yeah, I either think of just like role models,
Mm-hmm.
or no role models, or 2014 Forest Hills Drive as the
Yeah.
album
And
itself.
like the classic, like sitting on the roof, like
Yeah,
that
yeah, sitting
album
on the roof.
cover.
Yeah,
It's just classic. It's a great album.
yeah.
That's my number 10.
That's the other thing that makes for me. I love the album covers. Like if it's a
Yeah.
good album cover, it really
Yeah.
like
I mean, when you have some shit album covers, that kind of ruins the album for you.
yeah,
Because when you cue it up on your like Apple CarPlay or some shit, and you have your friends in the car, and you have this whack ass album cover on your screen, it's like, kind of like weird. But if it's a fire song, obviously. But
yeah.
yeah, the album cover definitely pushed that one a little bit through than some other ones.
That is a very solid number 10. Obviously, as we get further in, I probably and the listeners will probably be like, "Why is that at number 10?"
Yeah,
But I have a lot of those on here as well.
yeah. Like we said in the beginning, a lot of these are interchangeable for some other numbers, but just for today, this is what we're dealing with. All right.
So going to the number 9 slot, I have Utopia at number 9.
I was hoping you had Utopia on there at some point. At some
I
point.
I had Utopia. So Utopia for me was I listened to it when it came out, and not like when you say, "Oh, when it came out," like the day at 12:01 a.m.
Yep.
Me and our mutual friend, we stayed up and we listened to the entire album, and we didn't stop till we got to the end.
Yeah.
And upon first listening, I
And it's
will
like
say,
it's like an hour. It's like
yeah,
an hour 30 something album or song. So you're up at like 1:30 at this point.
when when we first listened to it, I did not, there were great songs,
Mhm.
but upon listening to it more, it becomes better as you listen to it.
Yeah.
It's one of those albums that become better. Like I'll say, "Meltdown" is my favorite song. Drake's feature is great.
Tea time. Tea time.
Yeah,
Tea time.
see,
Tea time.
it's heat up right now.
Yeah.
Then Topia Twins, I think that's one of 21 Savage's best features
Topia Twin. Yeah.
because he just comes out of nowhere. Like it's literally like you're just jamming, and then all of a sudden you just got
His
21
bars
just
are
coming in.
just
Just
crazy.
his voice are just it's so good.
Travis
It's so
and
good.
Travis and 21's voice, like anytime they have a feature together, it is it's a banger.
Yeah, and
They're,
obviously like normally Travis doesn't put the features.
mm-hmm.
Or he didn't for a while, and then he updated it to
Yeah.
have all the features. So you don't know like it's happening. Like
Well,
Meltdown
yeah.
when we heard Drake, and I was like,
Well, when you listen to the album, without any shit, what's the word? Fuck, what's the word? It's shuffle with no shuffle. Sorry, I just brain farted for a minute. When you listen to the album with no shuffle, the end of Topia Twins, is it Topia Twins? There's an end of a song where you hear Drake's voice, and then if you listen to it without shuffle, it goes right into Meltdown, which is Drake and Travis's song officially together.
oh, okay.
Which is when you listen to an album that just flows like Travis Scott's, like Hyena goes into Thank God perfectly. It's Sirens. At the end of Sirens, you can hear Drake's voice and just flows perfectly into Meltdown. I think that was awesome. But yeah. And that's a great take. I absolutely agree with that take.
Yeah. It is made leaps and bounds into my top 10
Yeah.
than when it first came out. And I will say everything was true. Spotify was not working. So at 12:01 we saw it, and then we had to wait until like 12:10 to be able to listen to it.
Of course. I bet you guys are like crapping your pants. Like,
Yeah,
what is happening?
we were like, oh my god, it's really happening.
Great take on that. For my number 9, Beer Bongs and Bentleys, Post Malone.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
ooh, is that?
Lower.
Like I said,
It's a bit low.
it's as of today, it's on there. Every single song on there is a banger. I remember this came out in 2018. I remember the day it came out. I was on my way to a track meet, and I just nonstop, no skips on this album. You have Rockstar with 21, which is what everybody knows. Um, you got fuck. I'm trying to I'm
Rich and
trying
sad.
Rich and Sad. You got Paranoid. You got Spoil My Night. Psycho with Ty Dollar Sign. All of the I could just go through all of these songs. They are so good. There are some slow songs. There are some upbeat songs. Um, this is definitely an album that I would buy a record for. I'm surprised I haven't yet. Um, the way Post has kind of taken a turn in his style of music, this kind of reminds me of the old Post with his rapping. With Austin, it's a great album. I love Austin, especially seeing him live right before his album drop and him playing some of the newer songs. He's a great performer. He's one of my top 3 concerts I've been to. Um, but yeah, Beer Bongs and Bentleys, he played a bunch of songs from that record. Um, and that, as of today, is my number 9.
It's a bit low,
It
in my
is.
opinion, because Post Malone is my favorite artist ever.
Mm,
He is my favorite artist. But I will save it because I have albums of his
yeah.
later on, so I will. A
Save
bit
your
low
take.
for me. A
Save your
bit
take.
low. A bit low for me.
As of November 14th, it is that low. Tomorrow, I'll probably be ripping Beer Bongs and Bentleys as I'm up at 4:30 in the morning baking. Just because we're talking about it now. But yeah, as of today, it's at number 9. And that is my take
Yeah.
currently.
Right, sliding right up into the number 8. This one has also made leaps and bounds in my top 10. I have Love Is Rage 2
Okay.
by Uzi.
Yep. Yeah.
I feel like, okay, is that high or low?
For me, as of right now, that's kind of low, but also I've been ripping Uzi nonstop since like the past couple weeks just to prepare for his concert.
Yeah,
So as of right now, for me, that's low, but I'm glad that it's on there.
because for me with rap music, I've definitely started listening to it more over the past 3 years.
Hmm.
And like Uzi, obviously one of those artists that I've listened to a lot. But like some of my favorite songs, like Neon Guts,
Yeah.
20 Minutes,
Yep.
EXO Tour Life,
4+2. Yeah. That.
yeah,
Yeah.
4+2+2. Those songs are just great. They're some of my
I
favorite
agree.
Uzi songs, and they're all in Love Is Rage 2. And I listened to it fully because the thing with me with albums and stuff is like it's very difficult for me to listen to a whole album in its entirety.
Hmm.
Like for me to listen to an album like it's good. So like, I'm not saying that I have any authority on the albums you should listen to,
Yeah.
but um, so yeah, Love Is Rage 2 is my number 8 for those songs, and it's just great. Obviously, the Pink Tape was really good, but I just think Love Is Rage 2 is good.
Yeah. I I like you said, I'm gonna save my take on this only because I'm not trying to spoil what's coming up. But for me that's a little low, but that's only because currently I'm ripping Uzi, being that in less than a week I'm going to be seeing him. So I'm kinda on a Uzi binge right now. Um but I'm glad one of his albums is on there. Um I think that's a good pick on that. Um for my number 8, you're not
Oh no. Oh
no,
no.
you're not what's the word? You're not very into this artist. I love this artist. I'm very surprised that at this point it's this low on my list, but I'm going with "I'm Gone" by Ian Dior. You're
Cool.
not an
Okay.
Ian Dior kind of guy for the most part, but I have I know all of his songs on every album. This one came out in 2020. Every single one of these songs is kind of like one of those just like pandemic kind of like when it came out in 2020, so that was pretty pandemic obviously. um just ripping this album constantly. You got Pretty Girls, you got Shameless, Good Day, and then I think Prospect is probably one of my top ones with Lil Baby. um Anything Ian Dior is awesome. But out of all of his albums, I think this would be my favorite. His new stuff is great, but just because I've listened to this album so many times through and through, I would put this one on top of his Industry Plant album and his other albums too. But yeah, I I would say this one. I know you're not really into Ian Dior that much, but he has some good features on other songs too.
Yeah, no, I do listen to like I'm not gonna sit here and say I listen to him.
Hmm.
The only song I really know is Mood.
Yeah,
I do like that song. So I don't really have an opinion because I haven't listened to the album, but
yeah,
everybody likes what they like.
yeah.
I like Mood. I don't have an issue with Ian Dior. I think Mood is good. I just haven't really listened to him that much.
I
So
got you.
um, that's what I got for that.
Yeah, there's not really much to talk about. Just because like I know you don't listen to him the way I listen to him. I would say he's my top three artists, if not my top two favorite artists of all time. Um, but yeah, I know you're not really informed, I guess, on his music, but uh, yeah.
Was
Uh,
um was Mood a single or was that on an album?
Mood was a single, and it was not his song. It was 24K Golden song. So
Oh, right,
yeah,
right, right. That okay.
so that's what kind of put Ian Dior on the map a little bit, but like I don't turn on the radio and an Ian Dior song comes on. Very, very rarely will that happen. That isn't Mood. Um,
Mhm.
but that was 24K Golden song, and he was just a feature on it. Um, but I do recommend to anybody who hasn't listened to Ian Dior, if you're into that kind of music, definitely look him up.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't listen to him like you do,
Yeah.
so that's very much like it's gonna be my next album. Going into the seventh spot
Mm.
is um, "The Mockingbird and the Crow" by Hardy. I'm a big country guy, and
Oh
Hardy
no,
is
no,
a country artist.
country.
I am a huge country fan. The thing I love about this album, right, is that it was kind of a surprise
Okay.
because Hardy, who Hardy is, he is really good friends with Morgan Wallen. And if you don't know who Morgan Wallen is, you literally do not go outside.
I've heard of him. I don't obviously listen to him.
Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah.
anti-country, by the way. I'm not a huge country person at all. That's why I'm
Yeah.
reacting like this.
So Hardy is very good friends with Morgan Wallen. He started off as a songwriter and then he started doing his own thing.
Mm.
And he dropped this album. I want to say it was the beginning of summer of this year,
Okay.
like late spring, early summer.
Mm.
And it is one of the albums that is so different because it is like country rock slash like
Yeah.
metal.
Okay.
Like obviously the title track is great. The title track is great because it switches from like a slow country song to like yelling and like rock.
Okay.
And if you look at the way the the titles of the songs are,
Mm.
if it's more in your face, they're capitalized. And if
Okay.
it's more mellow,
I'll look it up right now.
it's lowercase. And like the album cover too, it's kind of like half and half. Like the mockingbird is in the lowercase and the crow is
Yeah,
in
I
the
just
big
looked it up.
letter.
Yeah.
Um, the mockingbird and the crow. Here lies country music. Um, drink one from yeah, drink one for me. Um,
I
just so
ain't
many
in the
good
country
songs.
no more.
Yeah, I ain't country no more. And there's one called Radio Song
Mhm.
that people were not expecting because he did it with Jeremy McKinnon, the lead singer of A Day to Remember. And if anybody knows anything about that, it is like screaming,
Mhm.
like screamo, like music. And so it switches from a literal like country song, like the country song, like it's going truck girl, all the things, to literal like oh, like that kind of like song. And like I was never into that, but like the fact that it was done so well
Mm-hmm.
and by someone I like a lot, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So
I
that's where it's number seven. You know,
I never I thought I knew you were a country person. I tried getting into it. I did. I didn't want it anymore. It's all trucks, beer, dip, boots, girls, trucks. I don't know. It's just not my thing. But I
repeat,
what'd you say?
repeat.
Repeat. But
You're
yeah.
not wrong.
I'm not gonna criticize a country lover, but I'm just it's if it's in the car, like on the radio, it's going off. If someone has aux and playing country and I'm driving, I'm crashing that shit real quick. No, I'm kidding. But I'm just not a country person. But I respect your seven. I respect your seven. Uh, hopefully you can respect my seven. I'm going.
It's like you start off like that. Like
No, it's not bad.
it's just
It's not bad. I promise. SOS SZA. I had to throw SZA in there. She
that's her most recent one, right?
Yeah, yeah. SOS, great album. I when it first came out, listened to it through and through. You got Kill Bill, which you hear on the radio every point 4 seconds. Low is my favorite one on there, but you have some great features like Open Arms with Travis Scott. Travis and SZA always make great music together. Fantastic song. You also have Love Galore with them. They just pair really well together. But this is a great album. The album cover is sick. I've seen clips of her concert. It is. I wish I had the money to go to her concert. Um, but I'll settle for Uzi. But but yeah. No, this album is really great. There's some speculations with the Kill Bill song. It's all cap with Bill Nye and SZA. I don't know if you've read anything about that, but uh,
If
it's
not,
it's
but I have to now.
it's basically like SZA and Bill Nye were like tweeting about each other. So I might have this completely wrong. So please don't kill me.
I wouldn't say anything unless don't want to spread false information.
Anyway, SOS is my number seven. Yeah, SZA. I had to put a SZA album in there. Uh, and it's just such a chill album too. Like it's not like you could put it on as background music, or you could put it on, lay in your bed with the lights off and just stare at the ceiling, that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, that's my number seven. I don't know if you're a SZA fan or not, but she's amazing.
I I know some of her songs. Like I've heard her features on like the Black Panther
Yeah,
soundtrack, and she's good. I just never really like listened to her that much.
right.
Um, I obviously I have heard Kill Bill because, like you said, it's on the radio every
Um,
24.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I respect it. I know a lot of people do like Sissa, and I'm not saying she's not a bad artist. I just haven't listened to her.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I think you should. If you ever find yourself looking for something new to listen to, I definitely think you should pop on SOS or one of her older albums. But
Hmm,
she's a very good singer.
nice. And now we get to number six, which is where I feel I have some I have some hot takes.
Okay. Is 6 through 1 like your hot take list now? Like it's very controversial.
Mm, so after this,
Cause mine is.
oh yay! After six, I think from like five to one,
Mhm.
they could be interchanged from a place.
Okay.
Like five could be at four, three
Okay.
could be at two,
I
like that kind
agree.
of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like this one's controversial because of where it is
Okay.
and what it is.
Okay.
Stony.
I knew you were gonna put it on there. I knew somewhere you were going to have it. I didn't think it would be that low, considering the fact that when I put beer bongs and Bentleys at 9, you basically had a heart attack and
Well,
went into
because
your love for Post Malone, and
well
now you're
because
putting him at number 6.
well because I'm not done yet. Ooh,
He ain't done.
I'm
Let him cook.
not done. Um, so obviously, as I've said, Post Malone is my favorite artist
Hmm.
ever. Um, he solidified that because I've spoken it into existence. I'm taking full credit for this. He made a country song.
He did.
He made a country song, and he's done interviews where he's like, there is literally nothing stopping me from making a country album. So I've always said that he was already like there, like
Yeah.
at 3 or 2, depending on
Mm,
the day. But because he did, and he did it with who he did it with, he is my favorite artist. Like
yeah.
I've liked him the entire time, like back from like Stony and like Beer
Mm,
Bong Kelly's. But like he's just been all the way at the top for me the entire time.
yeah.
But Stony, you just got the classics. You have White Iverson. You
Yeah.
have Congratulations,
Yeah.
which I think is his best album or best song.
Oh yeah. It's definitely up there, especially with its
Congratulations.
popularity.
Just so many. Like that is the album that put him on the map.
Yeah, I agree.
You got I Fall Apart. Oh my god, I Fall
Oh
Apart.
my gosh.
Go Flex.
Yep.
Yours truly, Austin Post. I really like.
I love fuck, what is it? There's a song, oh, Feeling Whitney.
Feeling Whitney.
Man,
The
man.
guitar, the guitar and Feeling Whitney is great.
Such a good song.
Um, so many great songs in that one. So
Yeah.
that's.
Feeling
But
Whitney, the vocals on that song,
oh yeah,
crazy. And it's like not overcome by like music and sound. It's just him and his guitar basically.
and again, I'm gonna save what I have to say because I'm not done yet.
All right. I will say this, if anybody were to get me into country music, it would be Mr. Austin Post. That is accurate. I think with his country song, I saw a clip of him singing country at a concert. Um, if
At the
anybody,
at the Music Awards, he
yeah,
was singing that to me.
I think if anybody were to get me into country music, it would be Post Malone. Um, Strike me with lightning if I ever listen to country music, but if it were to be for anybody, it would be for Post Malone. Absolutely. Um,
All
Very
right, so
surprised on your ranking for that album specifically. I know you say you're not done, but that album specifically, I'm very surprised about. Here's another surprising one. For number 6 for me, I put Astro World,
okay, I mean,
which whether or not you're reading into this episode and it being at number 6, up to you. I didn't do that on purpose, but Astro World, you got Sicko Mode, obviously, Stargazing, No Bystanders, 5% Tint, man,
oh my God,
Yosemite, Butterfly Effect, Houston Fornification. It's just such a great album. And this album actually came out in 2018. Um, Great. I'm still listening to it on repeat still. Um, I've seen Travis Scott put some of his songs on this album for his Utopia tour, which I'm stoked about. Um, so we're keeping it at number 6, and I'm not done. But you know, Astroworld, it's controversial. At first, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I think it needed time to like marinate with some people. Obviously, Sicko Mode, Stargazing. Some of these songs was worth listening to right when it came out, but like now people are kind of growing appreciation for some of the other songs like Yosemite, 5% Tint, a bunch of songs. So I think after 5 years, we can say that it's marinated long enough and people actually find some appreciation for the album.
I 100% agree. I think Astro World is a great album. I like Travis. Like I like his music
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. And disclaimer: we are talking about the album. We're not talking about anything that happened with
This is
the
the
album after.
album.
This is the album. Anyway,
Back to,
I really like Travis's overall. I just really like Travis's voice. Like he's a
yeah.
very good singer, and obviously some of his most famous songs are off of that album. Sicko
Mm-hmm.
Mode, his most favorite famous song,
Yeah.
obviously. But like 5% Tint is just so the beat is
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
good. It is
I
so good.
I can admit that I've grown some appreciation to some of the other songs on here, except for, like obviously you have like you said Sicko Mode, and you have Stargazing, um,
Yeah, I've definitely grown on
and
some.
those songs are like as soon as you think Astroworld, you think of those songs, but then you have like Stop Trying to Be God, No Bystanders, songs like that. I've definitely grown a little bit more appreciation too, which I'm happy for. Um, but yeah, Astroworld at my number 6, and I ain't done yet. We'll put that out there.
All right. So we are in the top five.
Oof,
We are in the top
oof,
five.
it's
So
getting hot now, man.
for me, personally, in the top five, depending on the day, like I'm not saying like number five could be number one.
Right,
I'm saying like it
five
could be
five
like
through
four.
two, like 5 through 3 can be like interchange kind of thing.
I would say like yeah, 5 through 3 could be
Okay,
interchanged for me.
okay.
So like five could be at four, three could be at five, all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I have One Thing at a Time by Morgan Wallen. Yes, a country album.
Oh, Frank.
So this album
Oh, Frank.
is one of the only albums.
Oh, Frank.
This an album that is to be named later in my list, so I'm not gonna say it.
Another country one in your list?
And Utopia
Okay.
were the only three albums that either the day or right when they came out, I sat down and listened to all of it.
Okay.
And keep in mind, this album has 36 songs.
That is
This album has
torturous.
36 songs.
That is
And
torturous.
there is not a skip on this album. Obviously, there are really good ones, but there is not a skip on this album. I love this album because, and the other thing, when he was marketing his album, he went on an interview with the Barstool. If anybody knows Caleb Presley,
Mm-hmm.
and normally how Caleb Presley does is his interviews. They're kind of like satire interviews. Like Caleb Presley's playing a character.
Yeah.
So he asks Morgan. He goes, "I heard you have a new album coming out," and Morgan's like, "Yeah," and he goes, "His album previous to this
Mm-hmm.
was very long too." So he asked Morgan, he goes, "Is this album too long as well?" Kind of,
Yeah.
playing it. And he goes, "Yeah, it's pretty long." He goes, "How many songs is it?" And he goes, "It's 36 songs." And Caleb Presley, one of the only times you ever see him break character, and he goes, "It has 36 songs?" And he just goes right back into the character. He's like, "Wow, that's a lot of songs." And like, there's
Caleb Presley is great. I love
yeah,
his interviews, but yeah.
so many good songs. Obviously, the one that's been playing on every radio station, doesn't even have to be country, is Last Night.
It's funny,
Um,
I was just in the car coming back from my tattoo appointment and that song came on, and I don't think I ever switched a station so quick in my life.
it is definitely overplayed. That song is definitely overplayed. I remember that it came out because he put out a teaser of 3 songs, and that was
Mm-hmm.
one of the three he put out. And I was like, I told some of my friends, I'm like, if this album is like this, it's going to be his best album.
Yeah.
And I do think it is his best album. There's just so many good songs. Like, Last Night is really overplayed. But you have some stuff if you get into the run of the album. You got Cowgirls with his friend Ernest. You have Don't Think Jesus, Thinking About Me, Tennessee Fan, which is literally, obviously he changed it to a girl and a guy, but
Mm-hmm.
it's literally about Tennessee beating Alabama in college football. No one can convince me unless he says it. No one can convince me it's not. Um, you have You Proof that he released as a single, Tennessee Numbers, Ain't That Some.
Mm-hmm.
My personal favorite song, 98 Braves.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know
just
any of these
all good.
songs,
It's
but
just all good. And, if you're a country fan, obviously you would love this album, but Ken not being a country fan, so obviously.
sue me, please. No, but like I said before, I'm not gonna disrespect a country fan. It's just not my thing. Um, I will crash the car if it's on.
And I'm not done yet.
No, no. Oh gosh. Well, because you chose country, I'm not saying just because you chose country, but um, my number five,
Wait. Is this where it gets really controversial?
yes,
Okay. All right.
you
Okay.
know
Okay.
exactly where I'm going with this. I
Okay.
think telepathically through the screen, through this camera, we have you have an idea of what I'm about to do. Think back to my graduation party. Okay, here we go. Number five, Mainstream Sellout by Machine Gun Kelly. My 5 through 1 is interchangeable. On a day that I want to listen to MGK, this album is going on. No skips, all, all through and through. I am a Machine Gun Kelly fan. I am proud to say it. I've been to 2 of his concerts, one of which I was 3 rows back from the stage. It was fantastic. Um, but you probably won't know any of these songs, but you got Born with Horns, you got Drug Dealer with Lil Wayne, you know Emo Girl with Willow. I'm not a huge fan of that song, but you know what song I'm talking about. Um, Fake Love Don't Last with Ian Dior. Ian Dior and Machine Gun Kelly, they do a lot of collabs on songs, which is great. But yeah, great album. God Save Me, great song. And then on the deluxe version, you have Nine Lives, Last November, and More Than Life. Travis Barker is another person who collabs with Machine Gun Kelly. He's on drums for a lot of his songs, other than, you know, some of his just older songs. But yeah, I would say Machine Gun Kelly is one of my top 5 favorite artists, if not top 3. Um, I can listen to him any time of day because you have his new stuff, which is more like punk rock, and then you have his old stuff, which he's starting to get back into, which is his rap songs. I don't know if you just heard, but shit, who is it? Um, he just put out a new song called Sopranos with T Grizzly. It's basically Machine Gun Kelly's song. T Grizzly barely raps in it, but it's a great song. Yeah, I would say Machine Gun Kelly's top 5 for me, if not top 3. But specifically for this, I'm putting at my number 5, which is controversial to many because a lot of people think you're Team Eminem or Team MGK. I would say I'm both, but you know, in some worlds you can't really be both. I don't know. What's your take on that?
See, this is where I would come in and be like that. The obvious thing of that. The only reason MGK isn't in rap anymore is because of Eminem and that he dissed him so hard,
Yeah,
and not about the opinion of that.
our boy Brian
I
also
actually
agrees.
don't have like an issue with MGK or like his music. Like I like My Ex's Best Friend.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, great song.
it is a good song, but like obviously like he really isn't an album. He really had to switch genres because of
Yeah,
Eminem. Like you
and
don't go after
I'm
one
not
of the greatest of all time.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I think that being that he switched genres, he did a good job switching genres.
Mm.
Whether the cause was because of the whole thing with Eminem, whatever. But I think he did a good job when he switched albums. I do like his old rap stuff. It goes hard. I don't mind it. And now he's starting to bring back that old MGK rapping genre, which is great. But
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah. Like don't I? My only thing is like don't come and say like, oh, he left because he wanted to. Like we obviously
yeah,
all know why
it's
he left the band.
obvious.
Like it's
It's
very
obvious.
obvious. Like then I'll have a problem.
Yeah,
But right now, just like this, that's fine.
yeah,
Again, really, the only song I listen to from MGK is My Ex's Best Friend.
yeah.
Don't really listen to
Check out
him.
the Sopranos one they just put out with T Grizzly. It's Grizzly's song, but just check it out. It's it's pretty good.
This next one, we're at the 4 spot now.
Okay.
This one could be at 3 or 4, depending.
Mhm.
It is Beer Bongs and Bentleys
There it is.
by Post Malone,
There it is.
and what I've been saving this whole time for
Since number 9.
since Ken said it at number 9. say what you want. This is a hot take. That is his best album.
I agree.
I think Beer Bongs and Bentleys is Post Malone's best album. Like you said before, you got Rich and Sad. You have his most famous song, which is Rockstar, on there. You have, you know, Rich and Sad
Yeah.
is a bop.
You got Better Now. You got
You
Other
got Better
Side.
Now. You got,
Other
like you said,
Side. Candy
Paranoid,
Paint.
Spoil My Night.
Yep.
Oh my God, Candy Paint is such an underrated song.
Yep.
Um, and like Taking Shots, like you said, it's the perfect mix of slow and fast.
Yep.
It's rap and pop. It's everything. It's one of my favorite albums. It's what I think is his best album, and I would run to the store to buy this if I ever
Yeah.
got a record player.
It. I feel like with Stony, it kind of introduced the world to Post Malone, and once people kind of got on that train, Beer Bongs and Bentleys came out, and it just was it was done. That's why I think it would be his best album, because Stony came out and nobody knew who this guy was, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, there's only, I mean, the whole album's great, but there are only really a handful of songs that everybody knows. But with Beer Bongs and Bentleys, almost every song on that album was on the radio or was played at some
Mm-hmm.
point
Yeah.
on social media, whatever it is. But I agree with your take saying that it's his best album. Um, and with his newer album, Austin, it's great, but it just takes such a turn, like in genre wise. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying when I think Post Malone, I'm thinking rap pop. With his new album, it's kind of a little bit different, but not a bad different.
Yeah. I also have something for Post Malone as well, but I won't say it now because he's one of my honorable mentions as well. So I'll save
Yes.
it for then.
Okay.
So later on. So you're number 4. We're still on
Yeah.
the.
Still
Can't
on
wait for
the
number
post
4.
train. Yeah. Oh no, it's not bad. It's not bad. I promise. I had to throw one of these in there. My number 4 is More Life by Drake. If I had to choose any Drake album that I've listened to through and through to be my favorite, it would be More Life. Came out in 2017, so I was in high school. High school?
Yep.
Yeah, high school. His older stuff is fantastic, but for some reason this album always sticks out to me. You got Free Smoke as the opener, which the opener of that song itself is fantastic. You got Passion Fruit, 4422, Galakeister, Portland with Travis Scott, Teenage Fever, Glow, Fake Love. All I can name all of them really. 22 songs on the album, which is very generous. But I would say from More Life back is where I love Drake. From More Life on is where I get a little questionable about his albums. He has great songs, don't get me wrong, from 2017 with his newer albums. Obviously, CLB, Her Loss, Scorpion. They have songs that I'll pick and choose from those albums, but More Life is one of the albums that I can listen to through and through and not be mad about it.
Mm.
And I feel like Drake had to be somewhere on my list, somewhere.
Yeah. I like Drake. I kind of listen to him more casually. I do like Drake, obviously. I listen to him more casually. I haven't really listened to More Life. I feel like I started listening from like God's Plan, because let's be honest,
Yeah.
God's Plan is
Yeah.
like the one everyone knows. And then I started listening I picked him back up again at Certified Lover Boy, and then
It was iffy. CLB
yeah,
was iffy. But
that's when I started listening again to him.
yeah.
And then honestly, Nevermind, and then Her Loss, and then I didn't listen for All the Dogs because everything I've heard is just not good.
Yeah, I
Like,
listened to
like
it
all the
through and through.
reviews on that album were not good, and like IDGAF with Yeet, like
Yeah.
Drake sounds like the feature on his own song.
Exactly.
So, I
I
just
get
didn't
the
listen to
money
that.
for
But
fun.
yeah. But like I like Drake, and like I like his albums and stuff. Just those ones weren't
Yeah.
pick them up in waves.
I agree. And his old stuff too. You can listen to an old Drake song and listen to it and just know it's a bop. Um, his newer stuff kind of, like I said, gets a little iffy. His new albums, I can pick and choose some songs from, but like I said, from More Life back, all great albums, all great songs. From More Life on, that's where I get a little iffy on. But that rests at my number 4. I had to put Drake somewhere, but yeah,
It's
that's my hot take.
good. Yeah. So for my number, all right. So we're getting in the top three. This is the podium here. This is the
This
podium.
is yeah. This is where it gets serious. I feel
Yeah,
like
this
we
is where
need
it gets
we
serious.
need like
This is
some
the
like
podium.
music or something. But yeah, go ahead.
For me, again, 3 and 4 interchangeable for me.
Okay.
This is one of the albums. Like I said, there are 3 albums, if you remember, that I listened to right when they came out.
Yes.
It was Utopia and
Yes.
the One Thing at a Time.
Yep.
This album I also listened to right when it came out and all the way through.
Okay.
It is Pray for the Wicked by Panic at the Disco.
Wow.
I
On your podium.
I love
At your
that
podium.
album. There are so
That
many
is
because
crazy.
there are so many reasons as to why. But first off, let's start with the music. You have so many good things. Saturday Night. You have Hey Look My Made It. You have
And that's a newer album, yeah.
it
Right?
is it
It's like
is
2019, 2020.
it's 2018 actually.
Yeah. Really.
It did come out in 2018.
Really, with Hey Look Mine Made It. That's God, bro. That was
Yeah,
2018. Holy
it was.
shit.
I know it's wild, right?
Oh my god.
2018. Saturday Night, Hey Look My Made It. High Hopes, his most famous song,
Yeah,
probably.
High Hopes. Yeah.
High Hopes, along with like some other songs, but like Roaring Twenties, Dancing's Not a Crime, King of the Clouds, Dying in LA is I think is a good song.
Yeah.
Like that album, I listened to the entire thing, and the other reason why is because those friends that I had talked about that showed me Panic earlier, we became very close as a friend group at that time.
Okay.
When this album came out, so we all, after we listened to it, we all like were talking about it. So it's special, and like just has like those songs where like I remember this album. Like if you showed me an album cover with no writing on it, I could tell you exactly what album it is, and you could probably start any of these songs, and I could tell you what it is. I listen to this album so much. I've talked to so many different people about it. Like, there's not an album that I talk to more people about than this album. That's why it's like number 3 for most of the time.
Okay.
So that's
very surprising.
I guess that's my hot take.
That is a very hot take, especially being that your number 10 was Panic, and your number 3 is also Panic. Yeah, very hot take on that. I never really pinned you as a Panic person, but you know, I guess this podcast is just about learning, I guess, about each other. It's a learning process. But yeah, like I said, I'm not
Kenn's podium.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like I said, I'm not a huge Panic person.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Not a huge Panic person, but you know, not gonna diss on it. I've listened to Panics before. If it's on the radio, I'll keep it on. That's the most kind thing I could probably say with the knowledge I have of that group band. All right.
Kenn's podium.
My
Let's hear this.
my bronze goes to Utopia. My bronze goes to Utopia.
Yep.
It has to. This album, like Frank, I was gonna say this earlier, but I kept it for myself. Like Frank said, he listened to it 12:01. Unfortunately, the day that it came out, I had work the next day, so I listened to it at 4:00 in the morning the next day. Speakers going, I'm rolling dough, I'm baking bread, you know how it is, and I'm listening to this, and it is banger after banger. It took me a couple listens to really bring down my top 3 songs. But when you hear that opener, Hyena, it's so good. Um, you got Hyena, you got My Eyes, great song. I Know, great song. Circus Maximus is actually one of my, I would say, top five of that. Telekinesis with SZA makes me levitate out of my seat. Um, but even got Beyonce on there, which is crazy. You never expected a Beyonce take on a Travis song, but
Yeah, and for it to be the worst song on the album.
all right, yeah, Fiend, yeah, but yeah, Utopia. Not just because I'm going to this concert, but even before then, it is. I'm putting this right now on my Spotify Wrapped. Utopia, at least two or three of the songs are going to be on my top five of all year songs. Um,
I don't
it
know what my
is,
rap is gonna be.
yeah. I'm very curious, and I'm wondering if I'm going to be put into a mental hospital for it. But yeah, Utopia is my top three. It is my bronze. It is my top three. Like you said, your 5 through 3 is interchangeable. My top three is interchangeable. So that's my hot take on my bronze medal for my list. And we talked about it already, so you don't really have to take much on it. But I kind of saved myself from talking about it when you
Yeah.
said it, knowing that I had it at mine. But yeah.
All right. So the top two.
Oh geez.
Uh, for my number two, I feel like my one and two is pretty solidified as one and two. Like they're like I don't think number one could go to number two, and number two can go to one. My number two is Heroes and Villains by Metro Boomin.
All right.
Yep.
All
And
right.
Jacob, you can't take that space out because we need that to show the significance.
All right.
So for me, this album came out of nowhere. Obviously, Metro's a producer. He has other albums. He worked with other artists, most notably, 21 Savage and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
But the reason why it is so high on this list is the production of this album is insane. So many of the songs, so many of the songs go into each other, like lead right into each other. The interlude with John Legend and Morgan Freeman is
Yeah.
great. The features are great. There's not a bad song
It's
on this.
I don't like I love the album. I think it's a great album. There are some songs on there that I'll listen to on my playlist nonstop. I'm very surprised you put it at number two. And it makes me sad that you put it at number two because for best rap album of the year, it's going head and head with Utopia. And I'm very nervous that it's going to win over Utopia just because of how good it is and how so many people aren't Travis Scott fans. I'm not hating on your take. I'm just it's making me sad, but I think it's a good number two.
Yeah, like again, so many songs like Superhero, like oh my god,
Yeah.
Superhero was great. Like, and the fact that they all go into each other.
Yeah, when you listen to it no shuffle on, it is
Yeah, they all just go into each
perfect.
other. Again, there's not a bad song on the album.
Yeah.
There's literally not.
Yeah.
Like the worst one you could say is "Feel the Fire," and that
Even
one's even
even
not
saying
that
that,
bad.
yeah. That's a
Like,
great album.
oh my god, it's so good.
I think
And
Metro
like
did a good
John
job.
Legend and Morgan Freeman being on it,
Yeah.
like Metro cooked.
Yeah.
Metro cooked. He locked himself in the studio and
Yeah. I am not mad about the album. I think Metro did a really good job with the features and not even just the features, but just like you said
oh, the features are great.
the songs that go into one another. Like what really tickles my brain is when you listen to an album and the songs flow perfectly. I think that's one of the most satisfying things ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And being that Metro's was able to do this on Heroes and Villains, he did a great job with that. So I respect your number two. Um, my number two,
Uh-oh.
it's not bad. It's not bad. It's
See, you've been saying this for like the
but it's
past
not.
few,
It's really
but I'm
not
waiting
bad.
for the one that will be. All right. Yep. Go ahead.
No, okay, it's not bad. Eternal Take Lil Uzi Vert. Not bad. Not bad. I see. The thing is, on my list here, I say it's between EA or Love Is Rage 2. Um, but looking back on how many of the songs on EA I have saved compared to Love Is Rage 2, EA won. Um, for reference, you got Baby Pluto, you got Myron, you got Pop, Chrome Heart Tags, Secure. It's all of the songs. It's one of Uzi's better albums, I will say. Came out in 2020. More specifically, it came out March 6th of 2020. So being that it came out just as the pandemic started going, Uzi was able to leave us with a really good album to get us
Yeah.
through. Um, my top song would probably be Myron on it. Great, great song. But yeah, I think it was between EA and Lovers Rage 2, and your take on Lovers Rage 2 is really good. I couldn't agree more on that. But if I had to choose an Uzi album, it would be Eternal Take, for sure. And the art for the album, I don't know if you
Oh yeah.
remember it, the colors and everything, it looks really cool. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like I said earlier, I think Love is Rage 2 is more of a favorite for me,
Mhm.
but Eternal Take is still very good.
Yeah.
And like I said, getting into Uzi over the past couple of years, obviously you listen to Eternal Take, and it's a very good album. Like you can't
Yeah.
complain about. I feel like the closer to the top we get to the list, are like just albums that like you can't really complain about.
Yeah, there's when it comes to the top, at least the top 5,
Mm.
there can't be any skips on these albums. 1 through 6 or 10 through 6, like there could be skips, sure. There could be songs I have no idea what the hell they are.
Mm.
5 to 1, these albums have to have no skips at all.
Yeah.
Impossible. So that saying that brings us to our number 1 spot, Frank.
Oh boy,
How long did it take you to figure out your number 1? Was it
not long.
easy? No? Okay.
How long did it take you to get to your number one?
Probably a good like minute and a half, I would say.
Yeah, my number one was not hard.
You know,
Because
I was waiting for one of us to say the same one at the same number. I was really hoping for that.
I was
But
really hoping, but I
yeah.
know for a fact that it's not gonna be.
Okay.
Um,
Oh,
because the main reason is because this has been my number one album since 2021 when it came out.
okay, yeah. Definitely not the same album.
Yeah. So, my number one.
Drum roll.
It's a country album.
Okay.
Is Dangerous, the double album by Morgan Wallen.
Definitely not my number 1. I almost put that in. I'm just kidding, but
So the reason why is because it was the first of its like kind. Because
Mhm.
like as it says in the name, Dangerous, the double album.
yeah.
He, instead of putting out 2 albums in back-to-back years, he was just like, oh, I have all these songs here. It is 30 songs. That's why, again, like I said, when Caleb
Yeah.
Presley was like, is this one too long as well? And that's where that came from.
Yeah.
Like, you have some of his most famous songs on here, like Sand in My Boots, Wasted on You.
Let me ask you a question. With these 30 song albums, are the songs 3-minute songs? Or are they, like, you know how some artists do, like, 1-minute songs just to, like, add it in there?
No, they're like 3-minute songs.
Okay.
The lowest one is 2.5,
Okay.
and the longest one is about 5.
Okay.
So you have like his like stuff that you would only hear if you listen to it, like Beard on Something Country,
Mhm.
Need a Boat, Silverado for Sale. Then you got Heartless. He did a version of that with Diplo.
Which
And
one?
Heartless.
I
And
can't think of it right now.
he has this one as his Wallen mix, like that version.
Mhm.
In Time, This Bar, the cover song Dangerous is great. Just like because for me, obviously I grew up on country music,
Mhm.
and like this was the first album This was kind of around the time where like I was kind of getting my like streaming services in order.
Yeah. Okay.
So like when this came out, obviously I got the notification for it, and my friend was texting me, and he goes, he just came out with an album, and it's a big one.
Mhm.
And I listened to it all, and I was like, this is the guy.
This is it.
Like this is the
Yeah.
album that changes at least country because now people aren't afraid. He put out the 30-song album. Now he's like, okay, who's going to be the next one to put out a 25 to 30-song album?
Yeah.
And then he upped it again. He upped himself and put out a 36-song album. So,
Jesus. It's
you know,
crazy. And
just
how long in between? So is it a 30 song and then the next album he made was a 36 song?
yeah. So
Okay,
it
so
was
how long?
21
Okay.
to 23.
Okay, so it took him like 2 years to do that. He must have like had to start up like right away
Yeah,
after
and
that.
obviously like as he was on tour and like
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, that's my number one. It's been my number one
Okay.
probably since it came out.
Okay.
There hasn't been much for me that's been
Changing on that.
yeah.
Okay. Um again, not a fan of country. Gonna crash the car, but I'm not going to hate on you for liking country. Um Unless you're shoving it down my throat, then I will come at you, but I will respect it. So my number one, I think you're going to agree with this, and I had to choose at least one album from this person. Um,
I can't wait.
Came out in 2018. Album cover is fantastic.
Wait. Okay, I want to try to guess.
Okay, you
What
you could have
what
three
genre
guesses.
is it? What genre
It's
is
rap.
it?
It's rap.
Okay, it's rap. Uh, what color
I
is the
can't tell you
album?
that. Oh, it's a multiple of colors. I would say white would be the main one.
What
I'll,
the
t- I'll
Okay.
All right, Brian, as our guest, what is your top album?
Top album
Top three.
ever?
Top three albums ever.
Top three?
Real quick.
Rodeo by Travis Scott. See, this is not Eminem's best album, but but to me, this is the album I listen to the most, and this is the album I grew up with, Recovery
Okay.
by Eminem. And I'm gonna say Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. Thank
There we
you.
go. Thank you, Brian, for being here.
Astroworld also.
Honorable mention. 59. All right. Back to guessing.
All right, so the main color is
The main
white.
color is white. But there are a lot of different other colors as well, but the main color is white. It's a rap album, came out in 2018. I have to put one album from this person on my list, and it happens to be my number one because all of these songs I have saved.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I'll know it.
Okay, don't we just
Yeah, just
Okay.
say it.
Goodbye and Good Riddance by Juice WRLD.
Okay,
I had to put at least one of his songs or one of his albums on my list, and it just so happens that through all of my ranks, he became number one. You got All Girls Are the Same. You got the most famous one, Lucid Dreams, Armed and Dangerous, Wasted with Lil Uzi, Black and White, Lean With Me, Hurt Me, I'm Still. Dude, all of these songs are so good. So good. I had to do some Uzi. Not Uzi, sorry. Some Juice. And looking back on all of his albums, I would say Goodbye and Good Riddance would be my top out of all of them. Rip Juice, I'm very sad, but he left us with some bangers, so I'm gonna go
Still,
with that. Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
I have no issues with that. I have no qualms. I have nothing because that is a great album. It's a great album.
Yep.
Obviously, some of his most famous songs are on there. I have actually a Juice in my honorable mention.
Yeah, I do. I have Juice in my honorable as well.
So yeah, that's I have nothing. I can't add anything to that because
Yeah.
you said it basically.
Yeah, and so I guess that wraps up our top 10 albums as of right now for us. We're going to get into some honorable mentions because just choosing 10 albums is so hard. I don't know, do you want to just rapid fire these or you want to just go back and
You
forth?
rapid fire your 3, and then I'll rapid fire
We're
mine.
supposed to choose 3? Oh, God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just gonna rapid fire the 7. I'm not gonna go through it.
Okay,
if
I have some stuff to talk about with mine, so you go first.
okay, if you know him,
I only did 3.
yeah. If you know him, you know him. If you don't, you don't.
If
Stony,
there's anything like massively,
like we
then
need to
I'll
talk about
stop.
it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No.
So we got Stony. We got shit. I fucked up. Tickets to My Downfall by Machine Gun Kelly.
Okay.
That has my ex's best friend, Bloody Valentine. Another Juice. We got Death Race for Love. We got Legends Never Die with Juice.
We have the same.
Yay. I got Bobby Tarantino 2 by Logic.
Okay, so what's funny is about that. Why I'm laughing is number 1, I don't like Logic at all.
Okay.
And number 2 is our mutual friend
Mm-hmm.
that we went to see the Five Nights at Freddy's movie with, has a Bobby Tarantino Letterman jacket.
Does
he was and he was wearing it today.
Oh my gosh.
And he always says that, and we always make a comment about it because we're like,
Yeah.
oh, you like Logic? Like, oh, Logic's mid, or like
our friend James.
Yeah, or like,
I love you, buddy.
Bobby
Bobby Tarantino.
Logic in like 2023 is wild.
Anyway, he's an honorable mention, okay?
Yeah.
Next we got Austin with Post Malone. And last one I got Blonde with Frank Ocean. Those are my honorable mentions. I rapid fire through them. No need to talk about them. We all know them. If you know them, you know them. You don't, you know, whatever. All right, Frank, let's hear it.
All right, so we finally have one of the same in a same category. If it doesn't have the same number, we have Legends Never Die by Juice WRLD. I love that album. It's so good. Come and Go.
Yep.
Titanic, all that kind of thing.
Yep.
What You See Is What You Get by Luke Combs, country album. And Hollywood's Bleeding.
Yes. Yes.
Because this is what I wanted to talk about. Why I wanted to go second and talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
Post Malone, to me, unless he actually does it and makes the country album, he will probably not make an album that will surpass Stoney, Beer Bongs and Bentleys, and Hollywood's Bleeding.
Right.
He just won't. Those 3 albums are amazing. Hot take: Hollywood's Bleeding is good. People don't like it, but I can't understand why people don't like it.
Yeah, it's good. It's
it's good. Like there are some like overall it's not great, but like there are some great songs in there, like Sunflower, the one with Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hot take, but still good album.
But like when you think about his 5 albums that he has now, he hasn't come close. I love Post Malone. Again, like I said, I'll say it and die on this hill that he's my favorite artist. But he just hasn't. Those out 12 Karat Toothache, not good.
Yeah.
Austin was good, but like it wasn't
different genre. Different genre.
He at this point, unless again, this is just to me, obviously, unless he makes the country album, it's going to be very hard for him to actually come close to those 3.
Yeah, I can see why you put it as
that's
honorable.
Fine. And that's fine. Again, I'm not saying they're bad albums because I was talking to my one friend, Brian, who was just here and gave his 3.
Yes, he'll be in the cut. Don't worry.
Yeah. Post Malone doesn't make bad music.
No.
The albums weren't bad.
No.
Just when you think of Post Malone, you don't think of those albums.
Yeah, when I think Post Malone, automatically is Beer Bongs and Bentleys or Congratulations on Stoney. I can see why you put Hollywood's Bleeding on your honorable. Same thing, Austin on my honorable. I like Austin, but it's hard to compare his Stoney, Beer Bongs and Bentleys, and Hollywood's Bleeding to Austin because it's just such different music. It's not the same genre. same thing with, I hate doing this, but doing this too, but with Machine Gun Kelly, you know, he's rock punk. No, yeah, it's rock punk, but you know, you can't really take his rock punk and relate it to his older stuff of like, you know, Diablo or, you know, his rap albums. It's just such different genres. You can, because, you know, you don't like him either way, but
I never said I didn't like him. I'm just saying that
the face you're giving
I'm
right
Team
now.
Eminem. Like, okay, I don't not like him,
Mm-hmm.
but like I am more Team Eminem. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
Well, the face you're giving doesn't really say that anyway. But yeah, I agree. I think that's a good honorable mention. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have to talk about mine. Yeah, I think we had some solid picks.
I think we had solid picks. I was like you. I was really hoping that we would have the same one because that would be really funny.
Yeah, I mean, we both had Utopia in ours.
I
and
think like
beer
the same
bongs.
one in the same spot.
I know. I was really hoping for that. I think that would have been funny, but I think that I like doing these picks ones. I think we should do some more of these in terms of like the draft things I was telling you about. We should do some of those, but I think this turned out to be a pretty good episode. Some good picks on those.
Yeah. So thank you for listening.
Yeah, if you guys have anything to agree with, disagree with, I'm sure you have a lot of disagreements with mine.
And mine.
And yours. Or you just want to put down your top 10 in the comments or in our email or socials. Do it. We'll love to see it. Love to take your take. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up with our top 10. Just to go through it one more time. For me, 10 to 1. 2014 Forest Hills Drive, Beer Bongs and Bentleys. You got I'm Gone by Ian Dior, SOS SZA, Astroworld Travis Scott, Mainstream Sellout Machine Gun Kelly. We got More Life with Drake, Utopia Travis Scott, Eternal Take Lil Uzi Vert, and Goodbye Good Riddance on Juice WRLD.
For me, my top 10 was Death of a Bachelor, Panic at the Disco, Utopia, Travis Scott, Love is Rage 2, Lil Uzi Vert, The Mockingbird and the Crow by Hardy, Stoney, Post Malone, One Thing at a Time, Morgan Wallen, Beer Bongs with Bentleys, Post Malone, Pray for the Wicked, Panic at the Disco, Heroes and Villains, Metro Boomin, and Dangerous, the double album, Morgan Wallen.
Too many country on that one, but it's okay. But we thank you for listening to this podcast, and continue to get our podcasts anywhere you do get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Music, Odyssey. Follow our socials at the Lunch Money Pod. And yeah, that wraps up number 2, and we will be back for number 3 hopefully soon. And we'll talk about the Uzi concert that I'm going to or would have been going to. And possibly even the Travis Scott concert. And we need to talk about Frank's comedy show also. So we'll get to it.
For another time.
But again, we thank you for listening, and we will see you on the next Lunch Money Pod. Thank you guys.